All right, welcome back everyone to our investigation. So, I wanted to update you guys on a meeting I went to this week. The Board of Supervisor, Tyrone Nelson, had a little tea party. Tyrone Nelson is the Board of Supervisor for the Varina District, and I haven't really heard too much from him. So, I've been interested in gathering his thoughts on water fluoridation because Tyrone Nelson gets water from the city of Richmond. And most of you know that the city of Richmond had a major fluoride accident back in April 23rd, where more than a month's worth of fluoride went into the drinking water in one day. And a lot of people got sick. It was a very, very, very bad situation. So I thought of all people who might be sympathetic to my cause, I thought it would be Tyrone Nelson, but I needed to find out. So I went to his little meeting a few days ago and asked him why is he choosing to put fluoride in the drinking water in the Henrico Waterworks. And he responded by saying that he supports water fluoridation. So let's go over to my question, and you can see and hear his response, and then we can break it down to see what you guys think about this whole situation. So let's get into it, shall we?
My best. Take a couple more questions before we head out.
Oh, thank you. Hi. Many localities are across the U.S. are banning artificial water fluoridation due to the fact that it harms the brain, similar to lead. So, why are you choosing to deliberately add this toxic chemical and mineral into our public drinking water supply?
I support fluoride in the water. I'm not a scientist and I haven't seen that. I don't want to get into, thanks for coming to Marana. And I've answered your question. I support fluoride in the water. I don't want to get into a scientific debate. I trust the CDC and all the others who've approved the use of fluoride in the water. So thanks for your question. All right, thank you, ma'am. Thanks for your question. Any other questions? Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that. Thank you. Good people who are here, thank you for being here. Those of you who are watching online.
Okay, guys, let's give a quick recap of my question. I said, many localities across the U.S. are banning artificial fluoridation from the public drinking water because it harms the brain, similar to lead. So, why are you choosing to deliberately add this toxic chemical and mineral into our public water supply? Tyrone responds by saying, I support fluoride in the water. I'm not a scientist, and I haven't seen that. I don't want to get into it. You. Thanks for coming out to Varina, and I've answered your question. I support fluoride in the water. I don't want to get into a scientific debate. I trust the CDC and all of the others who've approved the use of fluoride in the water. So thanks for your question. All right. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for your question. Any other questions? Okay. He says, I've answered your question. Is that a truthful statement? Well, let's look at it. I asked, so why are you choosing to deliberately add this toxic chemical and mineral into our public water supply? Did he answer my question? No. He said, I support fluoride in the water. He is not answering my question as to why he's choosing to put this in the drinking water, despite the fact that it is harming the brains of babies. He then goes on to say, I am not a scientist and I haven't seen that. Now, this is very problematic because Tyrone Nelson has the power to put hydrofluorosilicic acid into the Henrico County's public drinking water. He admits he's not a scientist and he has not looked at the evidence. There's no excuse for this, because I have sent Tyrone Nelson the National Toxicology Program report. I've sent him depositions from the EPA saying that fluoride is toxic to the brain. I've submitted to him information from the CDC that says that the predominant benefit of fluoride is topical, and children under the age of 8 should not be ingesting this if they would like to avoid dental fluorosis. So I have provided him a mountain of information. So for him to say, I haven't seen that yet, is very problematic. And Mr. Tyrone Nelson does not need to be a scientist to understand that it's not ethical to put hydrofluorosilicic acid into the public water supply. What he's doing is exposing Henrico residents to this mineral, hydrofluorosilicic acid, from cradle to grave, essentially giving people a lifelong prescription of hydrofluorosilicic acid from the time that a woman is pregnant with their child to the time they die in their 80s, 90s, 100. They are being exposed to this. Do we think that it's ethical for Tyrone Nelson to decide to put Henrico residents on a lifelong prescription of this mineral called hydrofluorosilicic acid? No, it's not ethical. So Mr. Tyrone Nelson doesn't need to be a scientist, but it is disturbing that he is unfamiliar with the adverse events of ingesting hydrofluorosilicic acid. This is reckless of Mr. Tyrone Nelson. So for everybody out there who is in the Varina district, when it is time to vote, I want you to remember that Tyrone Nelson is choosing to put hydrofluorosilicic acid into the drinking water for you and your children to drink when he's not a scientist and he has not looked at the evidence of harm. What is he doing? He is deferring to the CDC. The CDC, whom has acknowledged the harms to children's brains. Okay, guys, so what do you think? It's extremely disturbing, don't you think, that Tyrone Nelson has the ability to put hydrofluorosilicic acid into the public drinking water, harming the brains of babies? Tyrone Nelson says, I'm not a scientist. He says, I've never looked at the information. What are you doing putting this into the drinking water, right? This is absolutely reckless. Absolutely reckless. Now, Tyrone Nelson, it doesn't matter that he's not a scientist and he's never looked at the adverse events if he understands that it's not ethical to put hydrofluorosilicic acid into the public drinking water. This mineral is not a nutrient. Just like lead is not a nutrient, Hydrofluorosilicic acid is not a nutrient. This mineral is being added into the drinking water to be used as a drug to treat people, right? And so it's not ethical to use the water system to drug people from the time a woman is pregnant with their child all the way through their entire life. I mean, think about it. Would you want your child to be on a lifelong prescription of hydrofluorosilicic acid? What other drug would you choose to have your child on for their entire life? Nothing. There's no drug that any mother would want their child on for their entire life. And there's a variety of ways that you can use this drug, mainly topical. There is a way to protect your teeth and your brain. You do not need to ingest this. And the CDC has admitted that you do not need to ingest this in order to get the therapeutic benefits of fluoride. And not everyone chooses to use fluoride to have good oral health. Some people prefer using hydroxyapatite. Some people prefer using xylitol. Some people prefer, some people are using just changing the bacteria in their mouth. There's a variety of ways that you can have good oral health. Just like there's a variety of ways that you can get vitamin D, there's a variety of ways that you can have good oral health. Some people choose not to ingest garbage and eat candy and sugar all day long, right? It's not appropriate to use the public water system to deliver medication to the public their entire life. So, Mr. Tyrone Nelson, not only is it reckless that you're choosing to put this in the drinking water, and you're not a scientist, and you've never looked at the adverse events, Henrico doesn't have any documents as to the purpose, the justification, or the safety of this. It's clear reckless endangerment. That is absolutely what's going on. I don't know how else you can put it. And if they were smart, they would get off this fluoride bandwagon. I just saw yesterday that yet another locality has banned artificial fluoridation. I've lost count about how many localities have stopped water fluoridation. 2 states have already banned it. Many states are on their way banning it. Everyone understands that this whole scheme has been a failure. It has been an utter failure. So, Mr. Tyrone Nelson, I do give him props for being the only board of supervisor at this point to go on record saying, I believe in water fluoridation. I don't know what the science is. I've never looked at the adverse events, but I defer to the CDC, and so I trust fluoride. And that's what the rest of the Board of Supervisors say privately, but they don't have the gumption to say this publicly. So at least Tyrone Nelson is willing to say this publicly. So when it's time to decide if we want to re-elect Tyrone Nelson, then people will know, well, he believes in drugging people without their consent. He believes in harming the brains of babies. He believes in putting this mineral, hydrofluorosilicic acid, in the drinking water without so much as understanding the adverse events to what he's doing. Okay? We will understand that what he's doing is reckless, right? So anyway, that's all I have to say about that. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you are in the Varina district where you understand that you're getting water from the city of Richmond and they're using a month tank to deliver fluoride to the drinking water instead of a day tank. And so again, back in April, the full over a month's worth of fluoride went into the drinking water in one day, which sickened a lot of people. Now, Tyrone Nelson, He still believes in that water fluoridation program in Richmond. He still thinks it's a good idea to use a month tank instead of a day tank, right? This is reckless. I've spoken to so many localities and they're blown away that Richmond was allowed to use a month tank instead of using a day tank, and that Richmond is still allowed to use a month tank instead of a day tank. This is absolutely gross negligence. There's just no doubt about it. But Tyrone Nelson wants to defend Richmond and defend that fluoride, despite the fact that it sickened a lot of people, despite the fact that they're still using a month tank to deliver fluoride to you and your children. So anyway, that's all for today, and I will see you next time. Thanks for joining me. Make sure to give a thumbs up if you like the video, share it with other people, smash the subscribe, and leave a comment below. Bye, guys.